As the holidays began to come around, the Kingdom of Arendelle saw itself become empty, which led Anna and Elsa to the realization that since their childhood, the two have never really had any family or holiday traditions of their own. This then had Olaf feeling obliged to go around the kingdom with one goal. He wanted to bring home nothing but the best holiday traditions for the two. This led us to the Disney animated short film, Olaf's Frozen Adventure. Disney released this short on November 22nd of 2017, and it actually gave us a lot of insight into Olaf's role in their little family. You see, throughout the short film, we see Elsa and Anna discover that they did in fact have a tradition all along. It's during this scene that Anna is showing Olaf the box they had filled with drawings and artwork centered around Olaf. Elsa then explains to him that he has been their tradition all along. He ended up being one of the biggest things that connected the two sisters to one another when they were little, even before his physical conception. Not only did the short film keep fans happy and satisfied while they waited for the release of Frozen 2, but it also explored a bunch of fun and different holiday traditions from around the world, making this one of the more fun holiday specials to watch in recent years. Now, throughout the short, fans have noticed a mind-boggling amount of Easter eggs, which are always fun to explore. In today's video, we're going to go over a couple of fun behind-the-scenes facts about the film, as well as talk about a few of the Easter eggs you can find throughout it if you look hard enough. Be sure to stick it out to the end to find out what Olaf's Christmas special almost ended up being instead of his Frozen Adventure. Our first Easter egg has to do with the directors of Olaf's Frozen Adventure. The two people responsible for this short film are named Stevie Vermer-Skelton and Kevin Dieters. And did you know that this wasn't their first holiday-themed project that they worked on? That's right, the pair actually worked together on the 2009 TV special called Prep and Landing, as well as its sequel, Prep and Landing: Naughty vs. Nice. Prep and Landing follows a seasoned elf named Wayne, who's growing tired of his job after working it for 227 years. However, after being paired with the new rookie Lanny, the two learn to overcome challenges, and Wayne has to relearn the purpose of his job. It was a really fun special, and it seems like the character made a lasting impression on Stevie and Kevin, because they decided to sneak them into Olaf's holiday special. In the scene where Olaf is visiting a family in search of holiday traditions, you can see wood carvings of Wayne and Lanny on top of the family's fireplace near the stockings. These aren't the only two projects that Vermer-Skelton and Dieters worked on either. They were also the pair responsible for directing The Ballad of Nessie, which was a short film that was released by Walt Disney Animation Studios back in 2011. The short follows Nessie as she is being forced out of her home by a new land developer. During the short, we got to see a fun animated tale showing us how Ness and her rubber ducky ended up making Loch Ness their new home. Much like with Prep and Landing, it seems like the pair of directors took a liking to their work, as all artists should, and they ended up deciding to hide Nessie in Olaf's adventure as well. If you take a look in the back of Olaf's sleigh, you might catch a glimpse of the elusive Loch Ness monster. Only in this form, she's much less elusive, you know, because she's a stuffed animal. Another queen of the water besides Nessie is none other than Disney's Moana. Only Moana is the queen of the sea and not the loch. Well, much like Nessie, Moana had to find a way to make an appearance in Olaf's special in one way or another, and that would come in the form of a ship in a bottle. Or should I say canoe in a bottle? Is that a thing? Either way, do you remember the scene in Olaf's Frozen Adventure during that time of year when Olaf hops onto that boat to find the family dancing? Well, if you can pull your eyes away from the family's fancy footwork, you might notice something behind them. Inside of a glass bottle, you can sort of make out Moana's canoe from her trip across the ocean to return the heart to Te Fiti. Now, a common theme for a lot of Easter eggs in this short film is that most of them happen to be sitting on a shelf, and the same can be said for one of our personal favorites. It's a direct nod to the first film in the Frozen series. In fact, it's a callback to the very beginning of everything. So, in the first movie, we got to see a young Anna and Elsa in the beginning, and during that sequence, a lot of people noticed something interesting about the dolls that the siblings had been playing with. The dolls almost looked like they were supposed to have been made in their image, which makes sense considering that's how they used to design dolls, in the image of specific people. Well, it seems like now that they are older, the dolls ended up in the arms of a different child, and when Olaf visits them to find out about their holiday tradition, if you pull your attention from the pile of presents under the child's bed and look to her shelf, you can see the exact same dolls that Elsa and Anna would be playing with in the first film. But do you know what's cooler than dolls? A robot that is designed to help out anyone in need. That's right, we're talking about Baymax right now from the Disney film Big Hero 6. Well, did you know that the producer of Big Hero 6 was also the producer of Olaf's Frozen Adventure? That's right, Roy Conley, someone who's been working with Disney as an animator for a while and helped to produce both projects. This is most likely why you can find Baymax's Rocket Fist sitting in the back of Olaf's sleigh underneath a bunch of other toys. This is a direct nod to one of Disney's best CG animated films of this decade. Now, what's really great about the Disney and Pixar animated shorts is the fact that not only are they chock full of Easter eggs, but they also tend to have a ton of fun behind-the-scenes facts that are always exciting to explore. And Olaf's Frozen Adventure is no different. For instance, we mentioned before that the short film takes place between Frozen and Frozen 2, and it connects them together. But did you know that Olaf's Frozen Adventure is actually set in the very first holiday season in Arendelle, since the gates have been opened? That's partially why it was so important for Anna and Elsa to discover their holiday traditions. Or did you know that even though the short film was only around 21 minutes in length, it took around a year and a half to create? That shouldn't be too surprising considering how difficult it is to animate and design things at the level that Disney is able to. I mean, to someone like me who knows virtually nothing about how to animate, it genuinely looks like sorcery. And speaking of magical animation, did you happen to notice Anna and Elsa's dresses? When you take a closer look at the colors throughout both of them, you'll notice that they changed a bit. The creators have confirmed that their change in wardrobe was done to symbolize how close the two have grown since the first film. And as for Elsa's new outfit, including her cape and gown, the animators made that look like velvet, which is one of the hardest textures to animate or to render in animation. It really goes to show you how much time and care the creators put into even their short films. One thing that's really fun about Anna's dress is that it appears to have the image of a goat on it. And come to think of it, you can find references to goats all throughout the film. This is because the creators did their research, and when looking into winter holidays all over the world, they discovered something about the Scandinavian Yule festivities. And that was the information surrounding the Yule goat, which is the symbol for the Christmas and Yule season around a lot of Northern Europe and Scandinavia. They even had a character designed after the Yule goat that they planned to name Mr. Jingles. Jingles was set up to be a goat that was going to accompany Olaf on his hunt for Christmas traditions, and he was going to have a taste for Yule bells. Yes, literally taste. His character was going to actually eat Yule bells, so when he would bleat, Mr. Jingles would do just what his name implied: jingle. However, the creators decided that he wasn't really a necessary addition, and they feared that he would take away the main focus and moral of the short movie. So they ended up going with kittens, as they felt it would fit into the story of the short film a little bit better. Another idea that didn't quite make the cut for the short was for Olaf to do a sequence based on the film 127 Hours, which was based on the horrifically true events of a man whose willingness to survive is the only reason he is still breathing. The creators of Olaf's Frozen Adventure knew that this wasn't going to work out well for them if they did that though. Even though it sounds like they had some pretty good ideas, including Olaf removing his arm, much like the real story, so that he could hoist himself out of the crevice. They ended up scrapping the idea and decided to go an alternate route and avoid that altogether. Something they couldn't avoid though was the fact that they had to rebuild the entire world of Frozen in order to animate and render some of the scenes. You see, the first Frozen was made on an older system, and since the animators began using software known as Hyperion, they had to redo almost everything that couldn't directly be converted. This made the scene where Olaf is slogging through the snow very difficult for them to render in. What's really mind-blowing is when you hear that there is one scene that wasn't CG animated at all, and instead it was stop motion. For the scarf scene, they had to paint each individual thread on the scarf for each frame by hand. If that doesn't make you appreciate the amount of work put into the short, I don't know what will. Maybe hearing that we almost got something entirely different from Olaf's Frozen Adventure. That's right, after studying all of the old Christmas specials, the original idea was to give Olaf his own Christmas show to host that was set to take place outside of the world of Frozen. This was ultimately scrapped for just that reason. They wanted the short to have more to do with the world of Frozen. It wouldn't have made sense to have a special take place in a different world. And considering how great Olaf's Frozen Adventure was, I'd say the creators made the right decision. As far as animated short films go, Disney and Pixar are unrivaled, and it seems like a lot of people share that opinion. And with the holidays coming up, it's always fun to watch Olaf go on his Frozen adventure. But what do you guys think? What was your favorite Easter egg from Olaf's Frozen Adventure? Be sure to let us know in the comments below. As for now, that's all Disney fans. Let us know what video you'd like to see next in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more magically packed videos.